So we had a question on our Hatch Embroidery user group Facebook page about how to do color blending. And in particular, it is this question here from Karen. She's posted this image of what looks to be like a cityscape style design with blending going from the orange to like a salmon type red down to that kind of cyan blue. And when I saw this, I thought this is a perfect example of why you would use the new multi-blend tool in Hatch Embroidery 4. So I thought it might be a little bit fun to go through the process of how I would create this design in Hatch and walk you through step by step on building that and then using the multi-blend tool to get that beautiful gradient fill effect. So we'll head over to our Hatch Embroidery software. And I've inserted the artwork that I just took a screenshot of from Facebook. I'm not 100% sure of the size that Karen was hoping to achieve, so I've put it at about, I think it's about 130 millimeters. I press M on my keyboard and draw across, and yeah, 132 millimeters. So again, I'm not sure if that's the size that Karen was looking for, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'll keep it at that size. Now, my first step is to build that cityscape design. And to do that, I'll be digitizing that with the closed shape tool in Hatch, and I'll be using the tatami stitch type. Now, what's great about this design is there's lots of really sharp right angle corners and 45-degree angle corners, which is perfect to use the control key when you're digitizing. What happens when you use the control key? Well, let's see what happens when you don't use the control key. When I click once for my outline, then move my mouse down and go to click again, you can see my mouse is free to wiggle anywhere it wants, which means to get that perfect right angle is really, really hard. No matter how hard you try or how much you're zoomed in, you'll never get that perfect right angle. But if you hold down your control key, click, and then your mouse will snap every 15 degrees. So 0, 15, 30, 45, and keep snapping all the way around. So you get those really sharp angles without even trying, and even beautiful 45-degree angles as well. If you make a mistake, of course, hit the backspace key and you'll undo that. So again, using digitized closed shape, tatami, I will choose this salmon color that I've added to my palette to match that red. And again, holding the control key, I'm going to now digitize this full entire shape. Okay, now my object is generated. And what you can probably see on screen is that the stitch angle is going on a little bit of an angle. It's not exactly parallel to that object. And that's really important for multi-blend, because multi-blend follows the direction of your stitching. Now, again, if we look at the artwork, again, the blend is going exactly horizontal to that image. So I need to change my stitch angle to be exactly horizontal to that cityscape as well. There's a couple of ways that I can do that. One of the easier ways is select that object and click on your reshape tool. And you'll see you've got this pink stitch angle here. Now, if I mouse over it, it is currently 15 degrees. So I can select that and move it around. And yet, you guess it, when I hold down my control key, again, I'm snapping at that 15-degree angles. So 45, 30, 15, all perfectly zero and straight. Let go of the mouse. And now my stitch angle is going in that perfect horizontal angle for that design. Now I can continue my design and add the multi-blend. So I'm going to select that object that I've got over here. And on my toolbox, I'm going to go to Edit Object and down to Multi-Blend. When you select that, it applies a default profile. Now the profile uses color 1 and color 2. Because I changed my first color to be that salmon-y red color, and I'm using the default color number 2, that is red, they look pretty similar, right? You can't really see the blending effect. But over in your multi-blend Docker, you can select each individual layer. So I can select this bottom layer and say that bottom layer, I want to be the yellow. And I'm going to choose just the number 12 yellow, the default one on the palette. Now to see your entire design, press 0 and it zooms it out to show it all on screen. Again, with that object selected, I've got my two layers, the red and the yellow. But looking at it, can't really see the red. It's kind of lost in the background, but clearly from the image, there's yellow going to the red, going to the blue. Now what I can do, I can flip these layers around. I can select that yellow layer and push it to the back. So it does the yellow first and then does the red on top. And now it's starting to make sense. Now it's starting to look more like that sunset effect. Now, still when I look at it though, there's still a little bit too much red at the top here. There's lots of yellow at the top here. So what I can do with a layer selected like the red object, I can click on this effects icon here. This takes me directly to the effects docker in the software. Now, if we look at the effects docker, I can see in my gradient fill area, I've got all the options for that one layer I've got selected. It's got smooth increasing gradient. I can change it to decreasing, go in the other direction, makes no sense, or increase linear. You can play around with those settings. And I think I prefer the increase linear one because the red comes up quite high and then it turns to the orange. And this comes up quite high and then it turns to the orange. But again, I've got too much red up here, I think. So with the red selected, my current density at the top of my object, or the maximum spacing, is 2 millimeters. The minimum spacing at the other end of my object is 0.4. So at the top up here, I'm going to open that up to be, let's say, 3. Play around with the settings till you get the blend effect that you think makes sense for your particular design. And that one's looking pretty good. So now the next step is I want to add that blue to the design. Now there's a couple of ways I can do that. I can do the same thing and select my digitize tool and go through and digitize that lower section again, but I want them to sit directly on top of each other, and I've already done that digitizing once. So to do that, I'm going to duplicate that object, and that's really simple. What you want to do is make sure you've got just the one layer selected. There's one layer here. Don't have both selected. Select just the one layer and press Ctrl D, and it will duplicate just that layer for you. If you have them both selected, like you click on it just inside the object color list and you press Ctrl D, you get both. So again, just select that one layer, layer number 2, make sure just 2 is highlighted, and press Ctrl D, and it will duplicate that for you. Now, first thing we want to do is make it be the blue. So I'm going to go over and choose number 26. I think that's a decent looking blue. Now, of course, a bit of a problem. My blue is going all the way to the top of the design, which of course is not what I want. It finishes at about halfway up that image. And I can see that by turning off my stitches, and I can see by pressing the S key, that just turns off your stitches. I can see the blue finishes about here. Now, to see where that is across the entire object from one side to another, I'm going to use a guideline. So on my ruler, I'm going to click and drag and get a line and let go of the line where the blue starts to fade away, which is about here. That's now giving me a visual guide on screen. So if I bring back my stitches by pressing S and then select that blue layer that I had in my object list, go up to the reshape icon, and where that line is, using my left mouse click, I'm going to click once on this boundary to create a node, once on this boundary to create a node. Then I'm going to delete the rest of the object up the top here by doing a bounding box, selecting all those top nodes and just pressing the delete key, and it gets rid of those objects there. Now when we look at it, we have the blue effect blending up, blending into the red, and blending up to that orange. So again, that's using multi-blend. First of all, to get those layers as I want them to be, you can select individual layers, duplicate them and make more layers, or you can duplicate the whole thing and choose a whole new multi-blend profile and apply that against that object and make all sorts of effects. Play around with all the blends as you want, and you can build up as many layers as you want. And that's why we call it multi-blend, because you can build layer upon layer and get that beautiful gradient effect that you want. And again, that gradient can be not just colors, it can be different stitch types. You can blend motifs to tatami to satin, but of course it works best with colors. So that's how I would use multi-blend to create that design, and I hope those tips have helped you.